can figure out, hello, if I can figure out how to do this. This is like one of my very few lives. I don't really do lives that often. Hello people, how y'all doing? I'm going to introduce myself really quick. I have my daughter in the background, so if you hear rattles and things, she's sitting in her chair. If you do not catch this, please make sure to catch the replay because I'm going to have it up in my IGTV probably, and maybe on my YouTube channel as well. My name is Tiffany. I am from my blog, itsmeladyg.com. I also have a YouTube channel. I am a certified health coach, holistic health coach. I am all about wellness basically and helping women bring wellness into like everyday life and hoping, that to make it a lot more tangible and good for everybody, not just like the goop crowd. Nothing against the goop crowd, but like, the things to make it, for a lot of regular and everyday women like us. But today I wanted to have a quick chat with Mecca Woods. Where did I put the book? It's over there. Let me get the book real quick. This is her book. It just recently came out. Astrology for Happiness and Success. From Aries to Pisces, create the life you want based on your astrological sign. I am personally a Virgo. Yay, Virgos. But we are going to chat really quickly about the book, and I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. I see her, she just joined in. I just wanted to hop on a little earlier to do the intro and things. You might have saw her on Essence.com. I saw a couple of videos she did on Bustle. Yay! I'm going to loop her in a second. Hopefully it goes well. I think it's like my first time doing it. But yes, this is going to be awesome. I mean, I am a mom, and she is a mom, but this is not going to be just for moms. This is going to be for anyone, and, I know that the time may not be great for everyone, and that's why I'm going to keep the live up, as I said, so you can catch the replay, but then you can also catch it on not my Instagram. Yeah, I'm going to have it on my Instagram TV, and I'm also going to have it on my YouTube channel, which everything is in the link in my bio, so you'll be able to check that out, okay? So, and it should go up on my website, maybe, I've not been super timely with putting everything on my website because it's been a little crazy with my 5-month-old daughter, and I also have an 8-year-old, so it's kind of crazy. But let's get to the questions. Okay, so let's loop her in. Let's see how that goes. No fussing. Oh, Hi!
Oh, hey! Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. How's everything?
Good, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me on your IG Live.
No problem. And like I said, I hardly ever do them. Like, because first of all, because they make me nervous, right?
Right.
They make me nervous. And most of the time my life is like crazy running around. So I'm like hardly ever just sitting still. So that's but this book, I wanted to make sure to ask you some questions or, get people, because I saw it come across my feed a lot. And that's when
okay.
Yeah, which is great,
Yeah.
And then
that means the word is spreading, so that's good.
Absolutely. And when it came across my email, I was like, oh yeah, I wanna check it out.
Good. Well, I'm glad you did.
Yes. Well, I'm gonna get right into the first question, because then that will, allow you to get tell us a little bit more about yourself. The first question I have 6 questions, but that's like the framework of the thing.
Okay.
Okay, the first question is, tell me what got you into astrology in the first place. No fussing.
Hi, baby.
She'll probably end up in my lap in a second. Okay. Yes, let me get her real quick.
Okay.
There we go.
Hi, baby.
Hi. Tell me what got you into astrology in the first place, and how long have you been in practice?
So I've been practicing astrology professionally for about 7-8 years. But I've been studying for probably about 10 years. And the thing that drew me to astrology was just, like I was at a crossroads, professionally in my love life, just feeling stuck and dissatisfied with where I was, and also being, a single mom, and really being cognizant of the fact that, like, whatever I was doing with my life, I knew that my daughter was watching it, and I wanted to make sure that whatever choices and decisions that I was making, it would be something that I would be proud of, in terms of like her being able to see that. And my thing with her, she's an Aries,
Okay.
so she's a fire sign like I am. I'm sad she's an Aries, and so like one of the things with her, that motivates me to make the decisions that I've made, now, and that I've made in the past, is to like, to follow your heart, follow your dreams, do the things that make you happy, do the things that, bring you passion. Because fire is very, very passionate and very dynamic energy. And so I found myself not feeling like my fire sign self. And I ended up picking up a book that was called The Celestial Sexpot's Handbook or something like that, by an astrologer by the name of Kiki C. Read the book, thought it was great, ended up getting a reading with her, and she told me things not only about my love life, but just about my life in general, that she wouldn't have known, that she completely looked at my birth chart and was like, this, and this, and I was just blown away. And that was the thing, I think, that really hooked me, because I got a chance to see that astrology was more than just, oh, I'm a Leo, or I'm a Scorpio, or, like it allowed people to actually unpack things about themselves, to learn more about themselves, and to be able to navigate challenges better, and find opportunities. And that's what I felt that it did for me. And then eventually, things started to line up in a way that I decided to like take it really seriously, and then it became a career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'll connect with you now. Like I said, I have an 8-year-old son, but now that I have a daughter, I think I feel like I understand what the importance is of like them seeing you follow your heart. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, totally. Totally.
Having a girl,
Yeah. And that's the thing. I think, as being moms, and also like Black moms too, because you want to show them that what they, despite like whatever restrictions or limitations may, or roadblocks may be in place, by things that are outside of their power.
Right.
At the end of the day, they still have some power within themselves to create the life that they want. And that's essentially what my approach has been to astrology, and with the book, Astrology for Happiness and Success. I want people to know that despite the things that may be going on in the world, or on in their personal lives, at the end of the day, they still have some personal power to be able to overcome or move past those challenges.
I really like I noticed that the way that you laid it out in the book. I really like, it's like really approachable, and in a way that you can use it. You know what I mean? So that it's not just like, this like vanity type things that you may see on the astrology. When you read it in the book, it's like actual tangible things that you can do.
Yeah. And I think that like I said, that's like always been like the mission that I've had, like ever since like I opened up the doors to my astrology practice. I wanted to be a thing where people could actually see how they can use astrology as a tool and apply it to their everyday.
Right. Cool. Well, my next question is, what led you to actually writing the book?
So it was a sort of an alignment of me always wanting to write a book, and then I think the universe already being like, okay, now it's time. Actually, like maybe like a year before I actually sat down and wrote the book, I had took a book proposal course with a friend of mine, and who, she's been published, she has a book and everything, and she introduced me to her literary agent, told the literary agent about this idea. She was like, great, like whenever you get a chance, I want to see the proposal. I never wrote the proposal because I was kind of doubting myself a little bit, like kind of like, oh, I don't know, and then, at the same time, building the business. And then last year came around, and we had some eclipses, and eclipses always like to come through and like push us to grow and evolve and face our fears and all that good stuff there. And so, you know, my birth chart got eclipsed, and it was like, hey, you know, Simon and Schuster came knocking on my door, and they were like, we want you to write this book. And I was like, okay.
Look at that,
And
right?
so, yeah. And so, so they, you know, they approached me, and they were like, you know, we really like your writing style. You know, we like how you make it practical and accessible. And, yeah, you know, we're open to whatever ideas that you have. And so, the intention was that it was going to be a sun sign book, you know, very beginner sort of 101 astrology. But like I said, I wanted to bring something to the table that had to do with like self-care and, you know, really showing readers that essentially everything that they need is already within themselves.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. This question is actually more for, it's digging deeper, not particularly with the book, but just in general that I have curiosity.
Right.
Can you explain what it means when like I saw in your last post when you were saying that like when one sign is in another, like with the planet? Can you explain the whole concept?
You mean in terms of like people being born like on a cusp kind of thing, or?
Well, I guess that too. But like, but like you know, like I think you said that it's turning into a like the time that we're going into now.
Right.
Like it's like when it's like Scorpio in March. I'm just like.
Oh, you mean like, okay, yeah. I know what you mean. Okay, so basically, the planets, based on the speed that they move in, you know, the sky is divided up into all the 12 signs, and that's how you get like the 360-degree wheel.
Okay.
So as the planets are moving, they're moving through the signs, and depending on how fast they move, you know, they can be in more than one sign at a time. So usually, you know, the fastest moving planet is the moon. The moon moves through all of the 12 signs every 28 days, or rather, I'm sorry, every 2.5 days. So we have like the moon phases, and then, you know, the sun moves through a sign every 30 days, right? So that's, we have like the 365-day year, 12 months. So essentially what we call that is transits. And so as the planets are moving through the signs, they, depending on what planet it is infusing that energy with that sign. So for example, tonight at around 8:40 p.m. Eastern, Mercury, which is the planet of communication, is going to be leaving Libra and moving into Scorpio. So while Mercury was in Libra, you know, a lot of the conversation and the communication was, you know, trying to like be fair and hearing both sides, and, you know, maybe even playing some devil's advocate, you know, because that's a Libra energy. So when it goes into Scorpio for the next couple of weeks, a lot of the communication is going to be more around like secrets and revealing secrets, and more like, you know, intuitive, you know, communication and things like that. So so we call those transits, and as the planets are moving, they're having conversations with each other, they're having conversations with our charts, and that's what helps to inform different experiences and challenges and opportunities.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always had that question, because it was like, well, I'm a Virgo, and and then I guess this kind of leads into my next question. Oh, well, no. Well, I'll make it the next question.
Okay.
So, like, I'm a Virgo. My daughter is a Taurus. My son is a Sagittarius, right? And so, I guess I being someone that believes in astrology as well, who you know, but nowhere near as deep. You know, like I don't
right.
know, I'm still, but I do see the characteristics of each thing, you know, like even with each kid, you know, like
right.
How would you, as a parent, right? How do you use that, I guess, in parenting, or how would you even speak to other parents about keeping it in mind?
Oh, I think that's a great question. And I think that really speaks to how astrology can help us navigate our relationships too. You know, I often talk about how like relationships, whether it's a family relationship, romantic, professional, we often tend to kind of bring people into our sphere or gravitate towards people that represent pieces of us in some way. So like, you know, I usually tell folks, like, especially like when you're dealing with signs that may like push your buttons or like rub you the wrong way, is usually a lesson, you know, that sign is probably carrying, that's trying to teach you something about yourself, right? So when it comes to like parent and child relationships, I think knowing the astrology is really helpful, because it's not just knowing about like their sun sign, but also like if you can get their birth chart either done professionally by an astrologer, or you can go to like a website like astro.com and like plug in you know, your child's like birthday information, the time they were born, location, all that stuff.
Okay.
You can kind of see like, you know, what their, you know, their sun sign, so that's like their identity, like how they express themselves. But then they have a moon sign, right? So that's like how they emotionally sort of express and sort of connect. There's Venus, there's Mars, you know, and so knowing those things can help you to kind of figure out like, you know, so for example, like Virgo and Sagittarius traditionally are two signs that conflict with each other, right?
Oh, really?
But yeah. But if you know your child's chart and you know your chart, you can kind of like assuage some of that, you know, some of those like more conflicting characteristics or pieces, so that it doesn't feel like you're constantly butting heads with each other. You know, you can kind of understand a bit more where your child is coming from, so that way you can encourage the positive energy and kind of know like how to navigate the not so positive energy.
Huh. That's very interesting.
Yeah. It is. It really is. I mean, I use it a lot with my daughter too, because she's an Aries, but which, you know, like I said, Sagittarius and Aries, we're both fire signs, but she has a lot of Virgo in her chart, and she also has a lot of Taurus. And so we tend to lock horns a lot, because I have Sag and I have Leo. So a lot of times I have to kind of come up with ways that I can get a point across to her, so that she doesn't feel like I'm like trying to like stop her fun, or you know, being too hard on her and things like that. So I often use the astrology to help me to figure out ways to actually like, you know, communicate and better get along and relate with my daughter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be saving this. Like I said, I see people coming in and out, but if I haven't said it already, I'm definitely going to be saving this to my IGTV, and also hopefully, if it will allow me to put it there. But it will also be on my YouTube channel, because I'm going to come back to this. So yeah. I'm going to come back to this to like really listen to, you know, like go and do those things.
Yeah.
As far as for parenting, I think. I hear the other one coming. Okay, next question is, why was it important to incorporate wellness into the book? Sorry, why was it important to incorporate wellness into the book for you? Hi, Chelsea.
So I think being an astrologer, you know, in dealing with like one-on-one with clients, I noticed that so first of all, a lot of the clients that I have are women. A lot of the clients that I get are also women of color.
Okay.
And I think one of the biggest patterns that I noticed in my work is that, you know, just how much we don't take care of ourselves as women and, you know, women of color, how much we tend to just let, you know, very basic self-care kind of go out of the window. Even when it comes down to things like setting boundaries, you know, or kind of like just resting, allowing ourselves ample rest, you know. And if you have a busy life where you are a mother, or you're running a business, and, you know, you're taking care of family, you know, there's just so many roles that we juggle. And so what I wanted to do was I wanted to incorporate something in the book that can say, like, you know, if you're having a tough time, or if, you know, you are in a place where you know, you're just trying to juggle everything, you know, here are things that you can do specifically for your sign to help navigate that tough time, or to alleviate stress, or to bring more joy into your life. So, you know, a long time ago, when astrology, you know, it's a very, very old practice, and it was actually used to diagnose people, like illnesses and things like that. And after a while, it stopped being used, because, you know, people started to say, oh, you know, it's fake and it's not real. But doctors, you know, you had to know astrology in order to be able to treat patients. And so now that we're starting to see like a renaissance with astrology, I think there are there are some practitioners who are looking towards like holistic and sort of new age sort of practices to treat patients along with like traditional medicine. But astrology, each zodiac sign is connected to a body part, a part of the body. And so using that information and kind of knowing what I know about like medical astrology and things like that, I wanted to bring some sort of wellness to the table to show people how they can better take care of themselves as well.
Definitely, like when I was like I said, for my sign, I did see the whole ask for help. It said in
Yes. I know. Yes. Because Virgos are so helpful. I mean, your sign is essentially the sign of service, right. And a lot of Virgos often have trouble with like, asking for help or sort of delegating, tasks and responsibilities, and that can lead to burnout. So yeah, asking for help is definitely a big thing. Even in terms of taking care of yourself.
This baby, I had to make sure to ask for help, because like the first time I was like, no, I can do everything. Don't worry about it. Next thing you know, I was like, no. You want to bring stuff over. It's fine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Good. And that's good. Yes.
I learned. What was I gonna say? The last question is, what's the biggest takeaway that you would want people to get from your book?
Ooh, that's a good question. The biggest takeaway that I want people to get, I guess it just kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier of just recognizing that astrology is a really great tool. Mm-hmm. And that essentially, if you use it as a tool, that it can really help you to bring out the best versions of yourself. Okay. And like I said, navigate things that you may not be able to control and take advantage of the things that you can.
Okay. Oh, well, yes, this one is getting...
Oh. Is that's your Taurus, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is she hungry?
Yes.
Yeah. Feed that Taurus. Yes. Tauruses don't play when it comes to food.
No. And I'm her bottom, so it's
I know. I saw her Chloe at your shirt. I was like, yep. I was like, she ready.
Well, I don't know if anybody has any questions. You can put it in here, but I'm also gonna write this up, like I said, But I really want to thank you for your time. I didn't want to make it too long, but I did want to chat. Because
thank you. It was a pleasure.
Really awesome. Everybody go check out the book. I have like a wellness store on Amazon, and I've added it to it.
Oh, thanks.
So
that's awesome.
Can, they can have it right here. But I'm gonna have more information on it. But again, this is Mecca Woods, everybody.
Hi. Thank you.
If you are catching play, make sure that you go and check her out as well with the book Astrology for Happiness and Success. From Aries to Pisces, create the life you want based on your astrological sign. Okay? All right. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
Okay. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.